Hey guys, and welcome to the presentation. So you guys have just gotten your Inbody result sheet. Now, I'll probably explain a little bit about the sheet to you, but maybe you've got some information. So this video is made for you guys to go over your sheet again with the information, so you don't forget anything, and also have some action steps to really implement to get to your health goals. So I'm going to start with a quick intro if you actually haven't had a scan yet or you haven't met me yet. My name is Kwok. I run the Live Well Inbody scans, and the reason why I'm so passionate about it is because as I've done the scan myself and I have gotten results from the scans, and I want to share a little bit of my story at the start with you guys, just to let you know that I practice what I preach and also can help you get to where you guys want to be with your health and fitness goals as well. So let's get straight into it. So a little bit about my journey. I started probably about 4 months ago, but I've been a PT for about 10 years. Now, through that 10 years, I experimented with a lot of different things with nutrition and exercise and so forth. But at this time in my life, about 4 months ago, I wanted to change my body composition. I really wanted to look and feel stronger, develop more muscle mass, and also become more leaner. So I had these goals of changing my body composition. And a lot of my clients have the same sort of goals as well. So I started my journey 4 months ago. I did my first scan. Now I have multiple scans back in the past, but for some reason this time around, it was more of a commitment for me. I wanted to commit to getting the results and showing that applying certain principles and using the scanning machine to understand your scan can really help you get towards whatever goal that you set out, whether it's to build more lean muscle mass, reduce your body fat, reduce your visceral fat. So I'll go through a little bit about my results. So as I started to do the scan, I understood about the first of all, my protein levels was important to me because I wanted to maintain muscle and I didn't want to lose muscle at all, maintain or gain. But the body fat I wanted to reduce. So this is sort of my progression photos as we went through the 4 months. So I really learned a lot about nutrition because I started to track my food as well. But what really helped me was doing the scans on I always recommend on a monthly basis because you can sort of see what you've done in a month and then any sort of corrections you can make. Because I own the scan, I did the scans every week. And doing the scans on a weekly thing for me really held me accountable. And that's the biggest takeaway message I want to share with you guys on my journey was the accountability. Because I always had the motivation to train and I really enjoyed training. The nutrition didn't really, understand it too much. But through these 4 months, I really took ownership of my learning about nutrition and also tracking, which I'll go through in a minute. And then I slowly started to change my body composition, as you can see now. So in that 4 months, I lost 3.8 kilos of body fat. So that, guys, that's just straight body fat. That's not just general weight loss. So, and also I was able to maintain my muscle mass at 31.9 to 32 kilos. So on my journey, I had enough protein to sustain my muscle and also just focus on losing that body fat. I went from 15% body fat to 10.5, actually 9% at the moment. So I'm going to show you maybe through the journey when I interact with you a little bit more on the Facebook page, or if you have any questions, you can just send me a message or email. I can give you sort of the tips and exactly the principles that really helped me along my journey. So that's sort of my before and after in the 4 months. So understanding the scan. Now, if you've never had a scan before, it's a device where it uses bioelectrical frequency to measure the different types of water in our body. And both the muscle and the body fat has water in it. So the frequencies pick up the amount of muscle and the body fat within our body. And that's very important to know. Also, it only takes about 60 seconds to do the scan. So basically, like this picture shows, you stand on the scale, then you grab the two handles and it has different electrodes on there and it measures throughout our whole body. It'll take about 60 seconds and it'll print out a result sheet for you. So it's very simple to do. It has about 98% accuracy, like the DEXA scan, which is medical grade equipment that uses radiation to scan the whole body. What I like about the Inbody is because this machine uses bioelectrical frequency, so it doesn't have any radiation. So you can do your scans on a frequent basis. Imagine if you had to do DEXA every single week or every single month, you're exposing yourself to a lot of radiation. So that's not a good thing, right? So that's how it works. It's pretty fast, takes only about 60 seconds, and it'll give you an understanding and a print off of your muscle, body fat, body weight, and all these other little details that I'll go through in this presentation. So this is the result sheet that I'll print out. I know there's a lot of data there, but I'm going to go through this video and pick out key things that you need to know for yourself, so you can implement some action steps to help you get to where you want to be. So let's get straight into it. The first thing I want you guys to look at is the first part, and this is usually on the left-hand side, top left-hand side of your sheet. So I want you guys to have your sheet out with you and a highlighter, and I want you to highlight these sections that I will go through. So the first thing you notice that it gives you your ID, which is your phone number, your height, your age, the gender, and also the time and date that you scanned. Now it's good to always scan on a roughly same day, same time sort of thing. So next month I'll try to do it in the morning about that 7 or 8 o'clock mark, and just keeps it consistent results through the scan. So that's the first thing. The second thing I want to talk about is the total body water. Now, on the larger figure that you see there, 41.3, that's the actual scan of my body. And then what numbers in the brackets is that's the parameters, what you roughly should be around. So you can see that 41.3, at the higher range of where I should be at 42.7. So the total body water is, we talk about how important water is to the body, right? If we're dehydrated, our muscles aren't going to function at its full optimal level, because 70% of our muscle is actually made up of water. So, and also water is important because we want to, if you're trying to lose body fat, when you start to lose body fat through exercise and good nutrition, your body's going to lose that, and you need water to help detoxify your body, all the toxins released from the fat and so forth. So you need water for that as well. So water is very important, A, for detoxification, and B, to help you perform at your best when you're doing any strength training. So I'm going to give you guys, I want you to calculate this. So I want you to do your body weight. So your body weight can be found on your right-hand side there. It says 66.7. So 66.7 times 0.33. So that will give you the amount of liters that you drink. So I'll go again. So 66.7 times 0.033 equals 2.2. So that means that I would need 2.2 liters of water per day. Now, if I exercise, I'll add another 500 mils on top of that. Okay. So I know it says 0.33 there, but just put in 0.033 and you'll get that calculation. Okay, so the next part there is the protein, and this is the nitrogen within our cell. Now, this is very important to understand because most people's goals should be to build lean muscle, right? And so to build lean muscle, you've got to have the right amount of protein in your body, because the protein that we eat actually helps you build lean muscle tissue. So again, my scan is 11.2. And I'm roughly in the high range as well, but it could be better. So if I wanted to build more lean muscle, I need to eat at least, get this number to 11.4 or above. And if I get it above, that means I'm having enough protein to A, maintain my muscle, or if I'm eating more than protein, I should be building lean tissue as well, depending if my training is correct as well. Okay, so that's that. So I'm going to give you a quick calculation of how you can do your protein. So it's your body weight. So in this case, 66.7 times 0.40. That will equate to the amount of grams you need per meal. So I want you guys to do that calculation for me. So whatever your body weight is, in this case, 66.7 times 0.40. So that equals for this example, 26.68 grams. So we just call it 27. Let's say we round it up. So that means this person myself needs 27 grams of protein in each meal for me to sustain the muscle that I have right now. Okay. And if I want to, for me to build muscle. So about 27 grams of protein. And we want to work that on a 3 to 5 servings per day. Okay. So 3 to 5 servings of 27 grams of protein. And then work out the daily calculation of protein you need. It's pretty simple. So your body weight again. So 66.7 times 2.2. So that equates to 146 grams of protein per day. So if I want to build lean tissue, I need to eat around that much of protein. Now it's 26 or 27 grams, and that's how much my body can metabolize. So if I eat 100 grams of protein in my meal at lunch or dinner, I'm only going to be absorbing 27 of that. That's the capacity of my body of how much it can break that protein down. So you can't backload protein. That's why you have to have it throughout the day. Okay. So my goal is obviously building tissue. So I need to do about 27 grams of protein 3 to 5 times a day. So I would do 3 main meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then 2 protein shakes as my snacks. So nice and simple like that. Okay. So that's that. The next part is I talk about the importance of the SMM. So the SMM is our skeletal muscle mass. And the goal is always to maintain or increase this. Now, muscle is very hard to build, guys. So if you start to lose muscle from your training, you're doing something that drastically needs to change. Either you're overtraining or not having enough protein, and you don't want to lose muscle because that's going to create sort of like a deficit in your body where you're going to go into like a starvation mode, right? Where the body is saying, I'm losing muscle, so therefore whatever I eat, I need to put on more weight, and usually it's going to be more body fat, because the only way you put on muscle is obviously if you do strength training, and obviously to build the muscle and have enough protein, right? Okay, so a good sort of fact to understand here is physically inactive people can lose 3 to 5% of muscle each decade after the age of 30, guys. I'll read that again. Inactive people can lose 3 to 5% of their muscle each decade after they're 30. Okay. Let's say I live to 80, so 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So that's like 5 decades, right? So let's say my muscle there is 31.9. Let's say go 5% of that. Okay, that's 1.5. So every 10 years, I'll lose 1.5 kilos of muscle. So when I'm 80, I'll probably lost 8 kilos of lean muscle there. So that takes my muscle down to like 23 kilos of lean muscle. And if my muscle is depleting like that, if I fall over and break something or hurt something or sprain something, it's going to take longer for it to recover. And I'm going to be in the hospital, and it's going to get medication and all these other different factors. So that's why it's super important, guys. As you get older, you must do strength training and you must focus on building muscle. If you start to lose muscle, you're going backwards. So also, muscle can help you increase your metabolic rate, which I'll go through in a minute. Increase strength in your bones and ligaments and tendons, help you with everyday movement. So if you're doing a physical labor job, or any job that requires physical movement, muscle helps with that, makes it more efficient, gives you a tone and look in your body composition, so you feel stronger and look better. Lowers the risk of developing diseases as well. So there's massive advantage to building lean muscle, and I need you guys to understand the importance of that. Okay, it's not always about losing weight. A lot of people come to me and say, I want to lose weight. It's actually, you want to lose body fat and build lean muscle. And that's why it's important to have a scan, because you can see these 2 indications. So when you get a scan next month, guys, you can see, okay, my muscle stayed where it is. Okay, good. My protein's on point, and I lost body fat. Great. My nutrition and exercise is working. If you lost muscle and you gain body fat, you can clearly see that, and you can then make adjustments from there. So it's tangible results that you can track on a monthly basis. Okay, so that's that. Now, what when you're looking at the muscle fat analysis on your sheet, okay, you're going to see three different shapes. You're going to see the first shape. Most people in general, if they haven't been training or they want to start to go to gym again, they're going to see this. They're going to see the C shape where their weight and body fat mass is high and the muscle is low. So it makes a sort of a C shape here. If your chart is sort of making this shape, you need to make a decision right now to change that. Because if you keep going, the weight and the body fat will keep going increasing and your muscle will keep going backwards. So you need to make a decision right now to change this, okay? And the goal is to move it to the I shape, where you start to control your weight and body fat, where those come down, and you start to maintain or build lean muscle. But the I shape, if you guys are an I shape right now, that means you're in a position where you can start to really put your health and fitness on the right track. You can start to build lean tissue by having enough protein and also weight training and so forth. And that's going to result in the next shape, which we all want, is the D shape, where the muscle is quite high and the body fat and our weight is in the normal ranges. Okay. And you can see by the brackets of the normal ranges, you can see that. So those are the three main shapes you're looking for. If you're a C shape, we need to make a decision right now to commit to changing your health right now, because if you keep going, it's going to be worse 5, 10, 15 years later on, and it's going to be much harder for you to correct. The I shape, you're in a good position to make a good change to build that lean tissue. And then the D shape is you're on the right track. Your nutrition, your muscle mass, your strength training, everything is going good. Keep doing this for the rest of your life, basically, if you want true health. So those are the three shapes that you're looking for on your sheet. The next part is we talk about the body fat percentage. Now, the body fat percentage is in the calculated analysis. Now, this is, you don't base everything off the body fat percentage because, for example, two different body types. A person who is a marathon runner could be at, let's say, 60 kilos, and a person who is maybe into bodybuilding could be at 60 kilos as well. Their body fat percentage might be the same, the weight might be the same, right? But the body fat is different because one prioritizes building muscle, the other one doesn't really care about muscle and just does more cardiovascular. So it really is based on what your body composition you're looking for. Are you looking for very lean, low body fat, no muscle, or are you looking for lean with tone and muscle definition? Okay, so the body fat, just use it as a rough guideline, but the two biggest indication is your body fat in kilos and your skeletal muscle mass, which I just went over. Okay, so just a general guideline. A lean male is about that 10 to 12%, where pretty much your abs are showing. A lean female is probably about 18 to 20%. Okay, we don't suggest females to get any lower than 18 unless you're competing like a bodybuilding competition. It's very hard for females to maintain a very low body fat percentage like that. Okay, so that's that. The next part is this segmental lean analysis. Now, this is the muscle in our limbs. So the first section is our arms, our trunk, which is the midsection, and our legs. So the top numbers, as the arrows indicate there, is the actual muscle in the arms, trunk, and legs. So you want to look at building these up, and you want to have a nice straight line. So as you can see here, this person, me, needs to do more legs to build the muscle up, so I'm a little bit more balanced, right? Overall, to my upper trunk, to build that, to build the legs up a little bit more there. So example there, the right leg is 0.9 kilos of muscle. Okay, but really on this scan, I'm looking for imbalances in the left or right arm or left and right leg. So for example, if my right leg was 7.9 and my left leg was 6 or 5 kilos, that means I need to understand there's a weakness there, and understand I need to work on developing that muscle. It could be from an injury and so forth, right? So if you're on your scan, if you have a massive difference between your left and right leg or left and right arm, we've got to address that because that's going to create imbalances in the body. So that's that part. So the next part is your Ecw ratio. We want to be in the normal range. Okay, on your sheet, it'll show your normal range. If you're within the normal range, it's all good. If you're over or under, that means there's some sort of inflammation happening in the body, and we got to identify that. So you need to talk to your health practitioner or a naturopath and figure out why there's inflammation in my body, and you need to figure out how to reduce that before you start on your health and fitness journey with your weight training nutrition. Because if the inflammation is always there, you're not gonna really tap into the full potential of getting amazing results. The body composition history, every time you scan, it tracks it. So you can see your progression of your weight, your muscle, your body fat percentage. Guys, you're gonna always have ups and downs. It's never gonna be a straight line. For example, muscle, it's never gonna be a straight line up, right? You're gonna go always up and down. The most important thing here is your consistency of building good habits, because it's not just about, I know I'm doing an 8-week challenge, but it's about doing an 8-week challenge and making good habits that you can keep over a long period of time and for the rest of your life, pretty much. Okay, so that just tracks your history and gives you understanding of that. And the most important there is your consistency, guys. Okay. Okay, we move to the right-hand side of the page. We go to the top part, which is your Inbody Score. Now, this is a score out of 100. Now, to get a high score on this, your muscle has to be quite high and your body fat needs to be quite low. And if that ratio happens, you're going to score a very high point. I've seen people score 100, even over 100, because their muscle was very high and the body fat was very low. Okay, so that just gives you an overall score based on your muscle mass and your body fat. Weight control. Now, when we talk about weight control, we're not talking about the total weight. We're talking about, I'm looking at the fat control. I want to minimize that body fat. And if I need to, I want to also build lean muscle as well. So on your scan, you're going to highlight 2 sections for me: the fat control. How much body fat do you need to lose? Okay, note that down. And then how much muscle do you need to gain as well? Okay. The segmental fat analysis example here, this is all the body fat on our limbs. Now, this is really good to know, because when you get your next scan, and let's say you lose 5 kilos, you can actually see where those 5 kilos have gone. Now, is it 2 kilos in my left and right arm, 3 kilos in my trunk, or is it 1 kilo in my legs? You can actually see where the body fat has, where you've lost it. So if on your chart, you see percentage signs over 100, we need to move those percentages down to under 100, okay? As you can see that my right arm, left arm is all under 100. That means I only have 0.4 kilos of body fat, so 400 grams of body fat on my arms. I have 5.4 kilos of body fat on my trunk. I have 1.5 kilos of body fat on my legs, right? So as I said before, when you get your next scan, you can see where your body fat has lost, and we're trying to get that under 100%. The next section, guys, your segmental circumference, that's the internal measurements, okay? The next part is the visceral fat levels. Now, the visceral fat levels, I might mention it before, but this is the most dangerous fat. This is the fat around our organs. Now, the longer this fat is here, the more health challenges and diseases that you are likely to get when you get older, because the visceral fat attaches itself to the organs eventually, because it's been there for such a long period of time. We want this to be 10 and under. The lower the better, guys. Okay, so if you're reading a visceral fat level of 10 and above, we need to get that down. And how do we get that down? By increasing lean muscle, exercising, and proper nutrition, guys. Okay, the only reason why this is up is because the nutrition has been processed foods, high in sugar and so forth, and therefore the body's retaining a lot of body fat. So we need to get that visceral fat down drastically. And the last piece here is the metabolic rate. Now, this is very important to understand, because this is your metabolic rate. Now, for example, this scan is my metabolic rate is 1,586, and that is determined on the amount of muscle I have. So if I had more muscle, the metabolic rate would increase. For example, if I had 2 more kilos of muscle, this might be at 1,600 or 1,700. right? Now, I'll give you an understanding of what the BMR and how that applies to you. So the basal metabolic rate, this is the amount of calories your body burns at a rested state. If your muscle is high, then your BMR is high. So if you're high, that's why it's important to build muscle, guys, because your BMR can be higher, right? So for example, the BMR is if you basically did nothing all day and ate 1,586 calories, you wouldn't gain weight, you wouldn't lose weight, right? Because you ate the exactly amount of calories your body needs to burn. But if you ate over that, let's say I ate 2,000 calories, now I'm like, 350, 400 calories over my basal metabolic rate, I'm going to be gaining weight, okay? And that could be a bad thing, that could be a good thing. Those 400 calories could come from, let's say, protein. And if it comes from protein, that means that protein can be used to build lean tissue. But also, it can be a bad thing if that 400 calories comes from, carbohydrates, sugars, or processed food. That's going to store as body fat. So I just want you guys to understand that, okay? So obviously, muscle takes a lot of energy to maintain. This is why people with high muscle mass burn more calories, because it takes a lot of energy for the body to preserve and maintain this muscle that you have developed. Okay. It also gives you more flexibility with your nutrition and the amount of calories you consume. So for example, let's say I had not that much muscle. Let's say I had 25 grams of muscle. You would see my BMR be quite low. It might be 1,000 calories, just for example. If I only could eat 1,000 calories, that's really restrictive, right? In a day, 1,000 calories. That's all I was able to have, right? If I am more than that, which is very easy to do, I would gain weight. So there's a disadvantage of having low muscle, guys. Your BMR is low, and an average person who doesn't track their calories or doesn't really understand about calories, they're probably eating 1,800 to 3,000 calories because they're eating all this processed food, fast food, and so forth. Okay, so this will take time to understand, guys. I don't want you to be overwhelmed with this, but I want you to know where your BMR, basal metabolic rate, is. Okay, a general rule: we wanted to eat 250 under your BMR if you wanted to lose body fat, and then burn 250 through exercise. And I suggest strength training. Okay, have some sort of strength training elements in your workout because we're trying to build lean muscle, right? So in this example, okay, if I do 1,586 minus 250, that means I'm going to be eating 1,336 calories. Okay, because that might be low for me. So if it's too low, right, I need to burn more through exercise than 250. Let's say 400 through exercise, and then I can eat a little bit more. So I can eat maybe 1,400 calories and burn 400 calories in exercise, right? So I'll just give you an example of sometimes the warning here. So let's say your muscle is very low and your BMR is like 1,100 or 1,000, let's say, okay? If you eat 250 under that, that's only 750 a day. That's like one meal, right? Okay, that's not sustainable long term. So if your BMR is very low, like 1,000, 1,100, 1,200, I don't suggest taking 250 off that. What I suggest is you eat a clean diet and eliminate processed food, and you use exercise to burn at least 500 calories. Okay, that's you're going to use exercise to really create that deficit. Okay, so that's that for the calories, and that's the importance of understanding your BMR. Everyone's BMR is different because everyone's has different muscle in the body, and that's why the scan is important, guys, because you can then make adjustments to what you're eating with your calories, your protein, your carbohydrates, and you can see whether you're building muscle or losing fat or losing muscle or gaining fat. You need to understand that because then you can make adjustments through your exercise and nutrition. Okay, guys? And also the most important thing there is keep your protein up. The reason why I said that is because remember, I just had a whole spiel about the importance of muscle. Okay, so we need to keep the protein up because that's how you've been build that lean muscle. Okay, support. I want you guys to join the Facebook page, the Live Well Body Scan support. I give you support and accountability there. So if you're not on the page, just type it up on Facebook and add yourself to it. And also it helps you hold accountable. As I said before, the biggest thing for me was the accountability. Basically, the sheet held me accountable. Every week I would do a scan. So every week I had to make sure my training was there, my nutrition was there, I was tracking all the food and all that stuff. And now I've got to my result. Now it's just a habit. It's a healthy habit that I have. I can still go out and enjoy food with my friends and so forth. But I know that the next day I might have to eat a little bit more cleaner or train a little bit more and so forth, right? It's just understanding the types of food you put in your body, understanding that the impact it might have, and then making those corrections. Remember, guys, it's the consistency that will get you the results. Okay. So that's that. And the last thing is I want to give you some action steps. Now, the first thing I want you to do is write down your health goals, your health and fitness goals, and write down why do you want to achieve this. The important thing is the why. If your why is not strong enough, guys, you're going to go off the tracks. You're not going to stick to it. You're going to get a scan. You're going to maybe do the Ecw challenge for a little bit. You're going to track a little bit, but then it would just, life will get in the way. That tells me that the why and the burning desire is not there. So I need a deeper reason of why you want to do this health journey. Okay. Because we're trying to develop a good mindset and develop good habits here for the rest of your life. Okay. But you got to give me why is important to you. Is it because you want to have more energy to play with the kids, or is it a life changing event where you went to the doctors and they said you had type 2 diabetes? If you don't change anything, you could develop other serious health problems, right? Is it that you have a wedding and you want to look and feel the best that you ever been before in your whole entire life? I really want to know the reason why you're wanting to get to your goals, guys. Okay. Be real with yourself and ask yourself those deeper questions. Once you do that, I want you to build a habit of exercise. So how many times will you commit to exercise per week? Now, guys, it's important that you do strength training. As I said before, the muscle is an important thing. You need to do strength training in your workouts, okay? Don't just go to gym and go on a treadmill, because if you do that, you might lose 5-10 kilos, but you're going to lose body fat the same. So you're going to lose muscle the same rate you lose body fat if you just do straight cardio. And that's not good as well, because if you lose that muscle, it's harder to get back. And also your body goes in starvation mode saying, hey, I need to store as much food as I want because I'm losing muscle and I'm depleting away, right? So make sure you build a habit of exercise, include strength training at least 2 to 3 times a week. Work out your water intake, which I've talked about before, your protein per meal, which I've given you the calculation, and your calories for the day as well. So your BMR. Download the MyFitnessPal app and record your food starting tomorrow, or you can start today if you're really keen. But the most important thing is do that for me straight away. Okay. Step 5, team up with someone as your accountability partner, or get a group together to do like a group chat where you post up meals, exercise, and interaction on the Facebook group, etc. Right? You need to do these things to be accountable, and that's how you're going to stay on track. And I want you guys to do this right now. Okay. The last step is stay consistent to build good habits. Make that commitment, guys. It's a long-term thing I'm trying to develop and help you guys build here. If you implement it correctly, you get on a really good track and you'll never look back again. Okay. That's it for me, guys. I will talk to you soon. If you've got any questions, just let me know. And I'll see you real soon. And hopefully I see amazing results. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.